Good afternoon and welcome to a rather breezy day in the South Lakes and the all-new Xtrail, a family SUV that's been around since the turn of the century. The last time I drove one of these was 2017 and it was a diesel. I mean, that says it all, and a manual, and I'm rather intrigued to see how it's changed. And this is the new N-Trek. I'm Ben Quirk, welcome to Planet Auto. To think the Xtrail's been around 25 years. First starting off in Japan in 2000, then we received it in 2001. And since then, it's been a family staple SUV. Everything from 5 seats to 7 seats, all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, and a range of gearboxes. Even, dare I say it, diesels. Now the new ones have all got some type of electrification, mild hybrid and the e-power that we've got. Now the thing that really stands out with the e-power system is, well, it's got a petrol engine with a turbo, but it's not actually connected to the wheels. It's connected to the motor. So the way it works is, when it realizes that it needs more power, it will start the engine. Otherwise, you're going to be in electric mode.
It comprises of a high output battery and a powertrain integrated with a variable compression ratio petrol engine, an inverter, a power generator, and a 150 kilowatt front electric motor.
In the case of the e-Force, it has dual motors.
I keep saying new Xtrail. It is an all-new Xtrail, so it's on a completely new platform. Now the thing I did notice about the previous gen was you'd go around corners and it would go around, no problem, but it kind of listed like a ship. Whereas with this latest platform, I've been zooming around the B roads and it's amazing how it's transformed it. It feels far more like a car than it's ever done. The thing is, it's not surprising when you look at what they've done to this. Since the previous gen, they've uprated the steering, so they've made it more responsive. They've also tweaked the suspension, so you've got McPherson struts on the front and multi-link suspension on the rear. And they've heavily invested in the refinement too. It was a blustery day today, but as soon as you climbed in the cabin, it leaves it all outside. You know, you'll hear other people's cars rather than yours. This thing pulls like a train. I was quite surprised, considering its size, how fast it gets up to 60 and beyond. It's a jack of all trades. It's perfect for plodding around the villages, going to garden centres, but it's great for a long haul as well. So you can get on the motorway and just cruise along. Economy-wise, well, initially we were getting 38. When I put my real eco-thinking cap on though, we managed to get it up to about 64. E-power is a fantastic system. And I think the biggest benefit, you don't have to charge it. Xtrail's changed so much over the years. I think the biggest change is the fact on the previous Xtrail, all this was chrome. So the fact that it's all black and stealthy, well, it really plays into my wheelhouse. When it first started out, it almost looked petrol. The thing is, it's never looked dated. It's always looked a smart SUV. And no matter how far it climbs with the generations, it still carries essence of Xtrail. Whether it's the interior space or its multiple applications. Whereas Range Rovers date, things like the Xtrail don't. And to think, we're now in the 4th generation and over 7 million units of these have sold. And considering its size, it's still great value. So base level one of these is around £36,000. Ours is closer to 47, and this falls nicely between N-Connecta and Tekna. So it's got a decent level of tech and equipment, but it's also got some rather funky styling. It looks rather smart, especially in this like champagne colour. 10 colours to choose from, including 5 two-tones. The interior. It's made for those with an active lifestyle. So if you get muddy and wet, the seats wipe down and they're really easy to clean. And if N-Trek isn't the model for you, you could even go for Tekna Plus, but you're looking at over 50,000 for that. Styling wise, yes, it's changed a fair bit. Far more curvature. And it doesn't look too clunky. It's not too big. It's got the right proportions. I mean, just look at these flared front arches. And then you've got the black plastic cladding. Stylish front grille, almost diamond-like. Rather aggressive valance with, yes, little driving lights. It's all singing and dancing. Lots of safety, lots of tech, adaptive cruise control, LED lights, AEB, mitigation systems, the whole shebang. You can get features like matrix lights. And the thing that I think is the most appealing to me is it doesn't nag. It's also got flaps that open to make it more efficient. They've added things like this, air curtain at the front, the kind of thing that you see on more and more hybrid and electrified vehicles. It just makes them far more efficient. And that's key, especially with a vehicle of this size. I love the two-tone look. There's a surprise. So yes, all-wheel drive. Look at the ground clearance, and you've got lots of space in the arches. Off-road system's nice and easy to use, but we'll take a look at that when we step inside. Not the biggest wheels, and also some rather bubbly tyres. The thing is, the way this drives on the road, it just makes it mega comfortable. The whole suspension system and the wheel setup is perfect. It just eats it up. There's no unnecessary clunks and bangs, potholes, you don't even notice them. Whereas if you had a low profile, you would. Now it's the perfect mix with a plastic cladding that wraps round and then runs down the door side. Floating roofline, black accents pretty much everywhere, including the mirror caps. Look, doors that cover the sills, which is essential when you're adventuring. And with what we've experienced today, it can hold its own. Keyless entry. See, I don't even have to press anything. Door opens nice and wide, and this is a decent opening too. You even get a grab handle. It's well trimmed, padded areas, and you've got your electronics here. So you can power fold your door mirrors, and yes, electric seats with memory function. Climbing in, well, child's play. I don't even need to really dip my head. Well, it's certainly changed. For a start, it's a digital cluster. It used to be analog. Some of the shaping here, the fact that the screen now juts out. It used to be integrated here. And I do prefer this look. I suppose the previous look, well, it looked rather dated. I know a lot of you like analog clusters, but well, this is where it's going. It feels more spacious than the previous gen as well. It's probably the way that they've moved around certain elements, like the center console. I can't work out if it's lower, or maybe it's the fact that it feels like the dash has been dropped as well, because my seat's on the floor. Leather wrapped steering wheel, and we've got some switches down here. So you've got some of your safety, you can adjust your headlamp height, and yes, this will tow. Down here, power tailgate, and you can adjust the lightness on your cluster. And there's a number of accessories, including a tow bar. It's not the biggest door pocket, but you'll easily get a drink in there. If you like this type of video, why not subscribe to the channel? You just hit the button on the right hand side. It's free, and you'll get an alert every time we upload. Thank you. Solid, good construction. Mind you, Nissan's been known for that for years and years and years. Something like an Xtrail is, well, built for purpose. The thing is, you can't really tell when you get inside. It's not what you call built like, say, a pickup. So, robust plastics everywhere. It's trimmed rather luxuriously. Premium materials, digital screens, but yet functionality. Things like twisty knobs and buttons. It's always good to see proper buttons. And Nissan recognise that. Well, they know their audience, which... It's amazing how many manufacturers now think, actually, I just want to streamline it because, well, it looks better. But no, 9 times out of 10, an owner wants something they can, easy to turn off the fans, just one switch, very nice. Heated seats, and then you've got the rest of your functionality down here. And a great little digital readout. As soon as you turn it, it kicks in. It's amazing how many vehicles I get in and think, how do I actually turn off the fans? With this, it's very straightforward. It's the kind of vehicle you can just climb in and drive. So you've got your EV button here, E-pedal, which increases your regen, also lights up the brake lights too. Essentially, it's one pedal driving, but it's got like a creep mode rather than a full stop. Digital clusters, nice and simple to read. And it does, well, mimic analog, which I like. Nice chunky stalks, very straightforward, and pretty much one button to set your adaptive cruise and your safety. USBs, 12 volt, wireless charging pad, and cup holders. And bear in mind, this isn't top of the range, it's like mid-range. So yeah, you do get a decent level of functionality. Your e-force system. So you can see we've got off-road, we've got winter, we've got road, or something similar, which I presume is normal. Also eco and sport. Yeah, and it can shift, it really can. It just propels itself in a way that a petrol engine just can't. Descent control and an armrest that's wide enough for you and your passenger. It's not the deepest, but it's got some little extra storage points in there. Very cool. New infotainment system, very straightforward to use, and proper buttons once again, and a rotary volume. Nice and responsive, easy to use, and easy to connect things like Apple CarPlay. It's got navigation, and there's lots of settings. Home button over here, and it's easy enough to go back to the home screen with the arrow that appears here if you're, say, in an app. So yeah, apps too. You can also shortcut to your camera. 360 view,
We've also got the front and the rear, dependent on which way you're driving. Very cool. No, they've done a good job. It feels more modern, and I do like the sleek design. Also, it's nice and easy to clean as well. There's no really like knickety alcoves or anything like that. Decent sized glove box, and there are some hard plastics, like the wraparound here. It would have been nice to see a padded area where your knee is, but it doesn't really ruin the experience, so that's cool. Extra storage under here, nice comfortable buckety seats, and as I mentioned, like a water resistant material. The thing is, it doesn't feel cheap and tacky. Yeah, it's a bit like the Honda Jazz Crossstar. It's built for people with an adventurous lifestyle, especially with the E-Force. I think they look great. It would have been nice to have a choice of interior colours, but let's face it, darker interiors are where it's going. Reach and rake in the steering wheel, and with my seat, I've got height adjustment too. I've even got a footrest down here. As you've noticed, we've no panoramic on this model. Headroom, well, as this is on the floor, what's that, about 3 inches? Finally, auto dimming mirror and sunglasses holder, awesome. Also some matte reading light. Sound system's pretty good too, nice bass. One feature with N-Trek is you've got ridged mats too. That's just told me it will shut down the vehicle itself. Let's take a look at the back. I almost forgot, we've also got adjustable seat belts. No, it's a great cabin, and I like the evolution. Xtrail has a lovely silhouette, and its proportions are pretty much perfect. It's got a wheel at pretty much every corner, which gives it a really great road presence. And even when off-roading, decent ride height and great space in the arches, allowing for articulation. Because this can keep up with the best of them off-road. And the E-Force system, the way it distributes power, is something else. It's really cool. Disc brakes all round, and it stops as well as it goes. Only petrol, no charging, even though it's got its own electric range. Now bear in mind that we've got a 7-seater, so Nissan have really thought about this. 90-degree opening doors, amazing. Little blind here, and padded areas, even on a mid-level trim. Great to see. Hard tops, but the rest of it is finished rather nicely. Decent door pocket too. Climbing in, well, simplicity. I do have to duck my head a little bit, but that's because the seats are raised up, but it gives you a perfect view out the windscreen. I'm just going to recline my seat a second. Because it's set up as a 7-seater, it means that there's a fair bit of movement. Once it's reclined, it's rather comfortable. And bear in mind, this is set at a lavish 6'3". And get my feet under the seats, you can slide. A fair bit of movement too. One thing that's missing from the N-Trek is a panoramic. But don't worry, you can get it on other trims. It's a comfortable seat, if not a little bit firm. Also, I did expect a little more bucket. No, they're supportive enough. Interestingly, no armrest. Or is there? Pull this, and this drops down. And cup holders too, and a place for your phone. That's well thought out. It also makes each seat, well, individual. I like that. Nice light headliner, centre light, and the windows. Well, just look at the size of them. They may be tinted, but it still lets a lot of light in, so it's nice and airy. Also, I've got a nice view out of the window rather than a chunk of roof. Always a bonus. Reduced transmission tunnel, but great space down here. So we can change the heat. We've got tri-zone, which I didn't expect. Also heated seats and chargers. No, N-Trek's shaping up to be a really good spec. You've got to love Nissan, the fact that they put grab handles above every door. And finally, ISOFIXes and airbags all around the vehicle. One thing that stands out about Xtrail is it's as easy to get out as it is in. Because of its decent ride height, it's perfect for somebody at my height. Thing is, it's not too high for, say, Annabelle's height either, so perfect. A sleek, sporty rear. LED lights, and look at the way that the haunches jut out. It's rather imposing from any angle, and I like that. It's a really striking look. The mix of the colours, the shaping of the body. Nice two-tone effect here on the big chunky bumper, parking sensors, and we've got a reversing camera. And don't forget the high-level brake light and a shark fin. Let's take a look in the boot. So, you can release your power tailgate here, or you could use the key fob or the button on the dash. I just about fit under it. That's excellent. So, nice Xtrail mat, and we've got a pull-out load cover. Nice to see it in white. Very cool.
Even at my height, it's a fair old reach. Unlike other load covers, you just press the button as opposed to pulling it in. I like that. And then just lift. And it'll just pop out. On the correct anglage, of course. Storage point here, shopping bag hooks, and we've got a rear light. Let's just pull this out and then we'll pop up the seats. Dependent on whereabouts these sit, you may have to slide them forward. Once in position, you just pull this and they pop up. How cool. The fact that you can convert it from a 7-seater to a 5-seater to increase load space this quickly, well, it's a great boon. Obviously in 7-seat configuration it does reduce the boot space. You still get, say, a small holdall or some shopping in there. This lifts up and you've got your inflation kit and some tools. Xtrail's always had a high level of practicality. For example, no boot lip. Right, well, the time's come. I think I'm going to have to try and climb in the back. Wish me luck. So to get in, it looks like you just literally pull this down, pull this. Okay, that drops to there. Now there's no problem with me sitting in the seat. I just, well, realistically will not get my legs down there. And there you have it, the 7-seat configuration. Comfortable little rear seats, and they're ideally for children by the looks of things. Decent load space. I'll easily get my e-bike in here, but if you've noticed, because it's a 7-seat configuration, there is a bit of a gap here, but it doesn't really hinder things. No, it's very versatile, the fact that it can go from 5 to 7 and then down to, well, pretty much 2 seats. Nice. Cup holders, tethering points. Take a look under the bonnet. To release, you just pull here. Just push left. No struts. Nice and easy to see where you top up fluids. And if you've noticed, the air intake is up here. Nice light bonnet too. Time to take it for a drive. Good afternoon and welcome behind the wheel of the new Nissan Xtrail. And we're just coming off Middleton Sands. And we thought we'd do a slight bit of off-roading just to see what it's like. And it can really dig its heels in. And listen to that. So yeah, you start off in electric, unless, yes, if you kick down, it'll change it. But other than that, no, you can just silently pull away and start touring the little villages. The thing about the Xtrail is, it may have a combustion engine, but it's not actually connected to the wheels. They're connected to motors. Or motor, dependent on the version. So when it thinks, actually, I've not got enough propulsion, whatever, to keep going forwards, it'll start the engine up, and then that, sorry, safety alerting me there, will then drive the car through the motor. Got a battery and an inverter. It's smooth as silk because you're being driven by an electric motor, not a combustion engine. And that's the hardest bit to get your head around. But I think the best part about this system is you don't charge it. It does it all itself.
Oh, it's a very intuitive system, isn't it?
It's clever as well. The thing is, this is now built on the new platform. And even though the previous one was a pretty good SUV, this just tops it in pretty much every way.
Well, so they've taken it up several levels, haven't they?
They have. They've uprated suspension, steering, safety systems.
Refinement.
Well, it's essentially a new vehicle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it is a new vehicle.
It's still got the essence of Xtrail, though.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's practical, it's family orientated.
Really versatile. And it's comfortable, it's fun to drive.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it may be big, but it doesn't drive like it's big. It's a really blustery day today, and you can hear, what, pretty much nothing, Annabelle?
Absolutely. It was the same with the suspension when you were saying I didn't find it wallowy when you were going around corners at all.
No, it mitigates it nicely, and it drives far more like a car than it used to. Also, it's got the power as well. Well, as I mentioned, they've uprated the suspension, but you've got McPherson struts and multi-link suspension too. They've also tightened up the rack and made it, I suppose, more a driver's SUV, because as you mentioned before, there's hardly any body roll, is there?
No.
I mean, considering its size, you'd expect it to wallow. It stays remarkably well planted, even though you can still feel the movement in the suspension. It's more for comfort, but it's not to the point that it's like a jellyfish either.
No, not at all.
So it's engaging.
Yeah.
Dare I say nimble, which you just don't connect with an Xtrail.
No, that's it. You just don't expect it, do you?
No. Mind you, with the other Nissan models, there's like a continued theme, isn't there?
Yeah.
They're all getting more drivey, which is good, because let's face it, we do miss the Nissans that have kind of disappeared.
Well, I said they've got a rich heritage in that kind of thing, haven't they?
We miss you, Skyline.
Fireman in the cabin is excellent.
It is. I mean, just listen to it. I can talk like this and you can hear me. No, even these potholes, it just gobbles up, doesn't it? There's no awkward bangs and thuds and things like that. When you look around the cabin, if you've noticed, everything is within easy reach. Nice and easy to read your cluster. You see this safety in the centre, and it's very simple to just engage things like adaptive. Let's say one button, and then you can change the speed, etc. Pretty much everything you can think of that you'd have in a decent ADAS system. The thing
Bells
is,
and whistles, really, isn't it? Yeah.
do you know the one thing that strikes me about?
What?
Is it nagging?
No.
You
It'll
get the
give
odd
you a
beep.
chime or low. Yeah, that's it. Low tone chime beep,
Yeah.
and then that's it. It just puts it into your awareness, I
Yeah.
should say.
But it will alert you of things that you really need to know about if
Yes.
something's about to pull out, etc. Whoa, that was bluttery. But
Yeah.
even with the lane keep assist, I felt it buffet it slightly and then it just straightened up itself. Economy. What we getting? 38.1 to the gallon. But I have been, well, flooring it down little back roads, and Annabelle's been going, well, a little adventurous on off-road bits. So when you start dropping into things like off-road, you will use more fuel. So I'm going to reset it now. Let's see what it goes up to. Listen to that. But I can still zip away. Down here, you've got an EV button, so you can put it into electric mode.
And it'll stay in that until it's gone.
Exactly, yeah. And you've also got e-pedal, which is essentially one pedal driving. The only difference is it'll creep rather than stopping dead. We've also got a brake mode on the shifter, so that increases your regen.
The brakes are good.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, it stops as well as it goes.
We've also got driving modes down here. If you look, we've got things like mountain, snow, road, a leaf, which I presume is economy, and a race mode or sport mode. The steering's a nice balance. It does weighten up when you start doing sporty driving. You start putting your foot down, which is nice. But when you're manoeuvring at low speeds, it's not too light, it's just the perfect balance. What we call the Goldilocks formula. Great feedback and pretty responsive considering the size of the vehicle. Because we're plodding along at 30, it's giving us 99.9. Because we were getting, I think it was about 62 in Qashqai with the same system. But bear in mind, this has got the all-wheel drive, so e-force. Mind you, it's a formidable system off-road. You've even got things like descent control. Like all Nissans, great lights. What we did notice though, look,
Ooh.
that's the Xtrail type shape that we had in 2017, isn't it? The thing we did notice is, even when you adjust them, using the height adjuster down here, the throw is still a little bit short. Decent high beam, and it's a nice, I suppose it's a wide scope, isn't it? Couple that with the brakes and the power, and you've got a formidable family SUV that gives decent economy but still has a nice level of performance. Also, it's very spacious. Talk about ticking boxes. So yeah, these start at around 36,000, but ours is closer to, I think it's about 48.
That's still a lot of car for the money, though.
It is. In general, with normal driving, you know, A's, B roads, not flooring it, etc., you should be looking at around 50 mpg. But it will go considerably higher if you adopt eco-driving. 57 to the gallon. But if you put your foot down, it will considerably drop. Okay, it won't. I expected it would on that acceleration, but no, that's pretty cool.